I have to track both of those things because of when the audio kicks in. I need to make sure that it's live when I say, hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yay!
ND.
I am Christiana Ellis, and I am the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Chooch Schubert as Sequential,
Hello, hello.
Paul Fisher as Zinhorn Windborn,
Greetings.
Starla Hutchton as Carolina Swift,
Hello, friends.
Mark Kilfoyle as Nedry Shiny Rock,
I only have 9 questions, but I'm thinking of more.
and last but not least, Vivid Muse as Trina of Harlee.
Hey, y'all.
So, our extra-dimensional adventurers had a lot of research to do last time, and so they wandered all over the city, from the Temple of Rushama over to the Institute for Advanced Magic, where they spoke with Professor Tinthis, who gave them some tidbits, about the identities of Elister and Isilda, the individuals from the letter you found way back in episode 1. And then you also learned that perhaps all of this is wrapped up together with a myth about a lost island or city or continent or something. It's all a little unclear. But you also went to the library where you did some more research about various things. And then you made your way back home to Sunya di un Torbella, the flying castle where you now stay, only to arrive and be told immediately by the spirit, Sunya, that Sorashana wanted you to know that the color has escaped. Which you will, of course, recall as being the color splotch that you fought a couple of episodes ago. So, I think we can go now to the map. We're not rolling initiative right away, but
Not quite yet.
up to you to decide how you are proceeding from here. Sunya has just said, Sorashana wanted me to let you know that the color has escaped.
What, right now?
Is it still on the premises?
Yes, it is currently on the cannonade level.
Attack!
Are
Yeah.
you all running
Yeah.
up there then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Shield and running.
All right. So, do you head to the right hand staircase or the left? I mean, it doesn't really matter necessarily.
I
but-
go left.
All right.
I've been trained to go left as well.
Okay.
I follow Trina.
Left sounds great.
All right. Well, it sounds like everyone's going that way, so I will go ahead and just. And you guys are going basically up 3 levels. You know, the first level up goes to where the noble quarters are, presumably Yobert's room, but also the big hall and the map room. Another level up is the workshop, where Sorashana's workshop is, and then one more level up is the cannonade level. So you have just sprinted up 3 flights of stairs. Yeah. So here you are. Do you guys want to you don't have to really be in a marching order necessarily because we're not really in initiative yet. But while you were running up the stairs, Sunya adds that Sorashana also gave me permission to make it clear that she is very sorry about letting it escape. But between you and me, I think that she is overreacting. And she seems to be having a hard time. She feels like she let you down.
Is she safe?
She is on her workshop right now and unhappy, but the color is not near her.
Okay.
Can you let her know that we don't hold her responsible? Because we couldn't hold it either.
I told her that I was sure you wouldn't, but she is distressed.
We'll reassure her when it's safely contained again.
So
Yes.
you guys tell me, are you huffing and puffing a little bit as you get to the third floor up? I mean, it's one thing to say you can climb 3 flights of stairs, but it's another
Right.
thing to hurry.
Trina would be huffing and puffing because she'd be trying to get her fat ass up there first to kind of like absorb any damage that came. So she would definitely be struggling.
Okay, whoops. So, Sunya tells you
huffing.
the color is currently on one of the cannons on the west or the eastern half of the structure. So I think you guys tell me like who's in front as you're getting up there, heading that way.
I mean, Nedry's in the back because he's just slower than anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, once Sunya said that Shoshana was in her workshop, I actually would have headed that way
Okay.
while everyone else went up.
All right. I will move you over there in a moment. But Carolina sidetracked to talk to Sorashana. Everyone else is rushing over to where Sunya is directing you. Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So, Zinhorn and Trina, are you competing for being in front?
I'm gonna let Trina get ahead of me.
Okay.
I don't hit as hard as she does, and I heal.
All right.
So
So, yes, as you are, let's actually, I'm going to give us a slightly different music here. So, as you trying to arrive up at this doorway and peek in through there, you can see on the map here, we can imagine you have the door open now, and you can see that one of these cannons has part of it where it's rather disconcerting because you saw this faded blue color on the bricks that they had recovered, right? But what you see now is the shiny brass metal of the rest of this cannon in one spot transitions to being this bright, vivid turquoise color. But it is, and it's not shiny in the way that the surrounding metal is. But as of right this moment, you open the door, it is not moving, it is in that spot.
I'm going to relay that to FAM and so refresh my memory, please. Is this the same stuff that we encountered when we first met Sorshana?
No, this is something that the rest of everyone fought without you.
Without
while
me.
While Trina was helping Emeril clean out the tavern.
That's right. So I don't know what works against it. Dang. So I'm going to report that back to them, and I'm going to ask what their recommended course is since they've already encountered it. I want to fight it, but I don't know if that's the smart thing to do.
we used, I believe, fire last time as well as regular weapons. And it was hard to see if it actually worked.
Most things really went through and hit the thing it's on rather than it itself. I think they heard it on their way through, but mostly it was just destroying whatever it was attached to.
And then trying to get it into a container.
Yeah.
And when
Okay.
nothing actually contained it. We
Yeah.
basically beat it until it stopped moving.
Carolina tried to put it in some glass, and that looked like it worked for about 5 seconds. And then it sort of ate through that. Be very careful if you're close to it. When it does hurt someone, it hurts them through their head. It's not physical damage. It's all psychic.
Oh, darn. So what is there anything in the room, Christiana? Like, what am I seeing in this room? Like physical objects?
Sure. So what you're seeing, as is shown on the map, is that there's the cannon itself, which is on some little like tracks that allow it to recoil and then be pushed back up front.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
stack of cannonballs, next to it, and then the cannon itself, which is sort of very ornate and fancy, but you presume is probably nonetheless effective. There is, I think, everyone there in this hallway would know, there is another door to this same room. So you're at one right here, but there's another door to the same room right here.
And those are cannons which are propped up on like ladders or something, or have stairs.
No,
on it?
those-
No, these are
those
like
are
little
tracks.
that allow it to
Oh,
recoil
tracks.
backwards and then be
Okay.
rolled back up forward.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there a metal like bowl or anything in the room? Like, is there?
You don't see anything like that.
what's in the barrel?
Like this thing right here, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that you know what, it's a water barrel. It's for like dousing things if they need to be doused.
Okay. I just want to make sure there's no gunpowder or other
Sure,
explosives there before I start throwing fire.
Okay.
I mean, there's the cannonballs, but hey, that'll just make it more fiery, right?
Yeah. I think that's a good point. There probably, I'll need to do some thinking about the logistics of what's stored in this room, but I think that there's not been any need to use the cannons in a while, and so they don't just keep barrels of gunpowder just stacked around.
They're not magical
Oh.
cannons.
No, normally you would keep those in a secure room.
So we're in the castle, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we can ask for kind of anything. And we've got help. It's not like we're in a warehouse somewhere. We've got,
It's true.
our Janet essentially that will help us.
Yeah.
So
And yeah,
what do we think? Is there anything that we want to try to ask for them to provide us to try and contain it? Or are we just going to
wonder
go
what
ham?
I wonder what the cannonballs are made of. I looked at several of the materials that it touched. It seemed to be able to consume just about anything, but we haven't got the full range of materials. Most of those were wood and glass and stone, but maybe metals. It didn't absorb the shield. Metals might have a better chance.
It's doing something to the cannon. There's some sort of reaction happening.
Yeah.
What you're seeing is it's there. There's not any movement or there's not smoke coming up from it or anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's not actively destroying the castle, so we have a few moments
Right.
to contemplate. Are there any I don't know, weapons that shoot fire or lightning
One
A
second.
lightning
that
gun.
we can borrow
Ooh.
in the castle?
Torches would work.
I mean, I think, so are you, I guess, let me know if you're asking Sunya or Christiana.
I'm asking Sunya.
Okay. She says, well, we could arrange for, my apologies, everyone.
Hi, Rocket.
Rocket has a new toy that has a squeaker. And he has
I don't know
Rocket
what
is
it's trying to
trying
that
to tell
cannon, but
us-
it sounds really weird.
Yeah. Look at
Rocket
this
is
cute
trying to
little
tell
thing.
us
But
that we need to
in
use
exchange
sound
for
as
taking
a
his
weapon.
toy, I'm going to
Sonic
give him
attack.
a treat. I'll be right back.
Okay.
That's one squeak if we're on the right track, because Rocket can see the map, see the notes. Or
So,
two squeaks if we're getting
Yeah.
cold.
what do we think?
We haven't had. My only guess is perhaps like lead might contain it because it seems to, have
Okay.
those types of properties of other things, but
Well, certain metals are known to affect spirits more differently than regular things. We did use some metal objects. My dagger, for example, did seem to
Yeah.
pass right through it. But maybe more purified metals. I don't know what the cannonballs are made of, though.
So
Also,
while you're having that conversation, let's check in down at the workshop level where we have Carolina has come up through these stairs here, entered the workshop, I guess, And so
Yes.
I think you look around and you don't see her at first, but then you see that she is kind of got her knees up to her chest in the corner, looking. She has her mask down, but it's not happy body language.
Right. So I have a question about prestidigitation.
Okay.
Now, it says I can create like a non-magical trinket or something that can fit in my hand, but does it have to be in my hand or can I create it somewhere else?
I I feel like it can be somewhere else.
Okay. So right in front of her.
So I think it still has to be in contact with you. I think that's part of how that spell
Okay.
works. Just because there are other spells that do things like conjure small objects
Okay.
that are not like attached to you, and those are like different things that are more powerful.
Okay. So, instead, I am going to, is she like sitting on her cot?
No, she's sitting on the floor in the corner.
Okay. So right in front of her on the floor, I'm going to use prestidigitation to make just a little small painting, almost like a little drawing, a sketch of a flower,
Okay.
just right in front of her.
So I think she kind of looks up. She sees it appear and then kind of looks up to you and kind of huddles herself and just says, "I just needed to try something. I didn't mean to let it go."
It's all right. Nobody's mad. Um, I wanted to know.
I'm mad. I'm mad. It was the wrong thing. I should have waited until you were all here.
It's all right to make mistakes. Everybody does. That's how we learn. But I have a question because we're trying to maybe, I don't know, recapturing it seems like a bad idea unless you really wanted to study it. It was contained in the glass, right? Was it moving around?
It was in the glass, and it didn't seem like it was trapped there, but I needed to try my pin, and I had to open it to do it, but it got away before I could try it. I think it might need to be dormant again first.
Okay. So do you want us to try to capture it again so you can try this?
It needs to be dormant again, like it was.
Okay.
But then she does stand up and she goes over to her workbench and she pulls up what looks like a long hat pin. Like, it's like 8 inches long, thin, steel pin, but where you might have some sort of like an ornamental like ball or something on the end of the pin that you hold, it has what looks like some sort of a complex little like electrical coil and a gemstone on it. And she says, "This, like, do you know when there's oil on water and you put a drop of soap, it surface tension. Do you know? Do you know that?
Yes. Yes.
This should do that to the color, but only if it's weak enough."
Okay. Would you like me to take it up? I believe they have tracked it down and they're likely to start making a bit of noise.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll come. I'll come too.
Well, my question was if it was contained in the glass, then maybe there's a way we could just trap it again. But if you want it to be dormant first, I suppose we'll have to do that. My second question is, I feel like it's probably not of this plane.
Oh,
Would
definitely
it-
not.
You don't have anything that would, I don't know, send it back to wherever it came from?
She holds up the pin again.
That will do it? That'll send it.
Yes, it's only here with Surface tension.
Okay, so kind of like it's anchored here,
Yeah,
and that will separate it.
I hope so.
Okay,
That's what I wanted
This
to
is
try,
good.
but then it got away.
that's fine. Nobody is mad. I promise you, no one's upset. I think Trina is actually kind of excited. Um, just a little unsettling, but all kinds, right? Okay, so come with me. I believe they're all upstairs on the cannonade level,
She holds out the pin for you to take it.
and I will take the pin.
All right.
It's like, if you want to come.
She is coming, but in the meantime, let's switch back over to everyone else. So, have you guys come to any sort of conclusion about an approach here, or you're just kind of still talking through while it's holding still?
Smashy's all I have.
It's interesting though, because it could have attacked more or traveled farther. It reminds me sort of like a scared animal. Maybe that's the kind of intelligence it has. It can't really be reasoned with. At least it didn't seem to understand when I was talking to it with my mind. But maybe that's one approach to consider, is it's more scared of us than really out to hurt us. Although it might have also been protecting.
I mean,
So it
that's
didn't
fine,
seem-
but we still need to contain it.
But did it seem like a feral attacking thing, or did it seem like it had like
Well, when we came
thought?
upon it had clearly, murdered somebody. So
But it might have been protecting itself. If it had been on the shield and the fellow grabbed the shield, it might have gotten scared and reacted. Just like when we get close to it again later. Maybe.
Or maybe
I'm-
it's just
I'm
an
wavering.
animal and it was hungry.
Maybe. I wonder what it eats. I mean, it seems to absorb color. We could feed it some pretty things, I suppose.
I don't know what to feed it to feed it color. I'm open to suggestions, but did you guys feel
I've
like
got-
you
some ink. Do I have paint? Is that part of a kit?
what
So
paint?
Kits do I have?
It
Right.
slides down the surface of the cannon, down to the just to the base there, and just kind of stays there for a second.
What does where it left look like? Is it sort of
So, as you had seen before, when it was swimming around like on the surface of a crate or something like that, it seems to have modes where it's just moving along a surface, where it doesn't seem to leave any kind of damage or any indication at all. And then it has the times where it's going through, like burning through a substance. It seems almost like a binary state, like it's either doing that or it's not. And if it's not, it leaves no mark at all.
and in this case?
So in this case, yeah, it moved around the surface almost like it was being shown there with a flashlight, right? And someone was just moving the flashlight down to point at a different spot.
Yeah, I don't seem to have anything with pigments.
Well,
Now
lots
I'm
of things
upset that
have
I didn't
color.
take color spray.
Just to see, yeah. Well,
Oh, I have
So
that fairy
Trina's-
fire spell. It freaked out on that.
Trina is going to reach down into her pocket and pull out a lime green handkerchief, and she's going to attempt to throw the fabric, the colorful fabric. So it's moved down to the base of the cannon.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Are there any big old sticks or pokey things that are traditionally near cannons? I feel like there's a big
Yeah,
stabby thing.
I know what you mean, like the thing that would be, like to pack in the
Plunger.
cannon.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
along
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay,
But
I'm
I don't think you see any of those handy.
Okay, so guessing the janitor didn't leave a broom laying around either. So I'm going to take my longest weapon, which is that would be a
You've got javelins, right?
right? That's the longest. Yeah, definitely javelin. Yeah, javelin. The whip would just be too much of a challenge, I think. But yeah, so she's going to take her javelin and she's going to she's going to keep the non-pokey end,
Okay.
put the fabric on the non-pokey end, non-threatening, and just offer this colorful fabric and put it in front of the splotch.
Okay.
And then back away and offer it some color because I don't know what the hell, y'all.
I think Nedry would have had to go through the other door because he's too far at the back to see much of what's going on.
Okay,
He has
so-
to see it.
Yeah, so you would
I
have
don't know, you
gone
guys.
around here. How close would you have gotten? Would you have stayed
How
far
long is
away,
a
or-
javelin?
Oh, I think they're like maybe 4 feet, something like that.
Then I guess that's how close I'm getting. But she would do it like ready to stop. Like she's got her shield put away. She's just going like Peace Man, and she's offering a bit of color for lunch
Sure.
just to
sure.
see what happens.
Yeah,
Slowly,
so-
and if it starts to react, she will back up.
Okay, so well, you set it down on the floor next to it, and there's not any immediate reaction. Do you back up anyway now that you've placed it there?
I'm gonna back up anyways and just give it a minute and give it some space, and then we
Okay.
can laugh about what stupid thing I just did.
Sure. So I think while that's happening, this is where we get Carolina and Sorashana making an appearance. So coming up around the corner there. And so I think there is a bit where the color kind of moves along, it goes onto the floor, and it just sort of seamlessly moves onto the floor. And again, it really, I think, it does resemble a little bit like if someone was pointing a flashlight or a laser pointer, right? It seamlessly moves from one surface onto the other, but then it moves over onto like at first it moves through the floor underneath the handkerchief, but then swims on to the handkerchief, and it's just like this handkerchief swirls as just the blue color, where it kind of passes through, and then it's in the center of the handkerchief, and then it heads straight for you, Trina, and it's gonna attack.
Oh,
That's totally fair. I just wanted to
Hey,
see.
no, I'm not saying you
Yeah.
did anything wrong for sure.
We're here for experiments, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it got a
Absolutely.
dirty 20 to hit, so I think that does.
Yeah, that hits.
Yeah. And it's going to do 13 psychic damage.
I was warned. 13.
Yeah, so I think as it, zooming up towards your foot, you see little tendrils start to reach up out from it, and they're reaching like towards your foot. But what you experience is that suddenly it's like you're snowblind with that blue color, and your head is just pounding, and it's just like, you feel suddenly like you're really sick, or you have a high fever or something, and it's just very unpleasant, I would imagine. And
Sounds
so
it.
we're rolling initiative.
Seems legit.
She tried not to be a fighter, you guys. You see what happened. You see what happened.
30
I-
20.
You made a peace offering and everything.
I did.
Um.
It's 11 for Trina.
Okay.
I consider it a successful experiment.
I just
Right.
realized
Now we
that
know
my,
what
my
happens.
little blue dot there won't let me give that a turn, so I'll just
Did it eat the color in the hanky?
no, it moved when so it went onto the hanky briefly, but then headed straight for you. So it left the hanky behind, and it's currently on the floor, the stone floor.
No good deed.
All right, so 11. Okay, so I'm gonna use another token here just to be just a placeholder for the turn. All right. Okay, so the color got 11. Nedry,
13.
13. Sequential,
9.
9. Zinhorn,
17.
17. Okay. Trina.
My initiative
Yep,
was 11.
11. What's your dex?
My dexterity is 13.
Okay. And then Carolina?
Dirty 20.
Okay. And then Sorashana got a 6. Okay, so we are now in initiative. So Carolina, I think you heard them talking around the corner as you were coming up, but then you hear trying to kind of saying, "Oh look, it's likes the handkerchief," and then ah. So I don't want to tell you, Viv, how trying to react to that, but my guess is that you made some kind of noise.
On the nose, I would say. Oh, yeah.
From the nose.
No, sorry. sorry. That one was unintended. Yes.
She trumpeted her displeasure.
Okay, so coming up around the corner, hear her make that noise. I would present the pin as like, we.
So
What
are
did
you?
she
You're
say?
coming around the corner. Sorry, since I have to move your tokens, just let me know when you're moving.
Yeah, one more. There you go.
Okay.
Say, it needs to be Norman, but we can send it back with this. So have at it. Wail away. Set it on fire. Throw some books at it. It'll be fun.
Okay. So are you going to take any other action?
Well, I don't think I can see Trina from where I'm at, so
I
I'm
think.
go
Well, the
ahead.
doorway is the door is open, so you might see her just a little bit around the edge of it.
I am going to cast Bardic Inspiration
Okay.
on I guess Zinhorn, since he's right there in front of me. So
All right.
yeah, just go ahead. That's it. So
Okay. So Zinhorn, you're up next. You now have Bardic Inspiration.
What does that do for me?
you get, let's see, you gain an inspiration die, 1d6. For 10 minutes, you can add it to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. This can be added after seeing the roll, but before knowing the outcome. And with level 2, you could also add that die instead to any spell that restores hit points or deals damage. Yeah. And you can roll the die and choose the target that's affected by the spell. So, like, if you are casting Healing Word or something on somebody, you can roll that die and add that to the heal.
Okay. And how much damage did Trina take?
11.
13.
Or did I say 13? Might have been 13.
Yes.
Yeah, 13.
Okay. I can't get past Trina to do.
Well, because she's an ally, you can squeeze past her if you want.
Okay.
Because she would allow you, right? Like she's not
Right.
controlling the space to prevent you.
Does she look hurt?
Well, I think she might be clutching her head,
Yeah.
reeling
My
backward.
eyes. Let's see.
All right. I am going to move past her to be to her right and 1 square down.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am going to touch her and do Cure Wounds.
Okay.
Many thanks.
And that will get you 10.
Mm.
So I am not. Yeah, I rolled an 8 plus 2. So
Thank
I'm not
you.
going to need that inspiration
Well,
on this
so you can-
particular roll.
Yeah, you can hang on to it.
Yep.
All right. So do you have a bonus action or anything you want to do?
Let me see. Is my breath weapon a bonus action?
I think it's probably a full action.
There's a bonus actions tab under actions on the D&D Beyond
Oh, thank you.
interface. Mm-hmm.
No, I do not have. Thank you. I do not have a bonus action I can
Okay.
use right now.
All right, Nedry, you're up.
Well, pull out my pen from one pocket, trace in the air a magical sigil. Master always says, safety first. And I cast Mage Armor.
All right.
And then I put the pen away and draw forth my dagger and start to head in that direction.
Okay. 2, 3, 4. So you can get up to melee with it if you want. Like you can
No,
move 1 more square.
I don't have an action to attack with, so
Okay.
I'd be staying back about, let's say 10 feet for now.
Like that?
Yeah.
All right. So, that would make it its turn. And it's, trying to, you're right there, so it's going to attack you again.
That's why I'm right there.
But this time it only got an 11 to hit, which probably doesn't hit you.
Does
What's your
not
AC?
hit.
Okay. Yeah, so your vision cleared as soon as that initial attack faded, and so this time you see it kind of coming up to sort of dart at your foot again, and you're able to kind of jump out of the way and prevent it from making contact. You get the impression that it does sort of need to make physical contact for it to do whatever it did to you.
Okay.
But so it, so it attempts that attack, but then, doesn't make it. And then, let's see. I think what happens is that it then moves along the floor. And I think it moves to about there. And because it's just literally like it's embedded in the surface of the floor, so there's no. Actually, you know what? I'll allow both Zinhorn and Nedry to make opportunity attacks. So you're not able to obstruct its movement, but you can make opportunity attacks.
What about Trina?
Oh yeah, trying to
Actually-
do. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Nedry, it isn't left his melee range. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yes, Trina and Zinhorn then.
Well, Trina's pulling out that magic great axe that's sequential infused, all special for her. And she's going to swing at it.
Yeah, she should.
That is a... Oh, that's a 24 to hit.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Yay! 1d12 for 11 points of damage.
Okay. 11 points. All right, Zinhorn.
I tried to be your friend.
I'm gonna blast it with my breath weapon.
Okay.
It needs a Dex of 11 save, I guess.
Okay.
It says Dex 11.
Yeah. So it got a 15. So it probably takes
Okay.
half damage still.
Okay. And
Remind me what your breath weapon is?
lightning.
Lightning. Yeah. So what does it look like when you use your lightning breath?
It's kind of scary. He opens his mouth and his teeth kind of flash electric blue, kind of runs up and down his jaw, and then he just it's kind of like he spits or vomits, and this stream of lightning lances out.
So I think that
Cool.
Now
I-
I'm sad I didn't sing the song that I was thinking about singing, but okay.
I think that there's a little bit of a like an electrical scoring effect along the stone where it hits, but you definitely it ducks to one side and avoids the worst of it, but does take some peripheral damage. So it takes half damage. Yeah,
Half damage will be 2 points.
2 points. Okay. All right. So that was Zinhorn, and that was so the opportunity attacks reacting to it. So next is Trina, your actual turn.
I'm gonna swing again. That was fun.
Yeah. So you're kind of gonna push past Nedry and Zinhorn
Yes.
there.
As politely as possible. Yes.
I mean, you can just step over him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 25 to hit.
There you go. Sure.
And oh, you know what? She was gonna enter a rage.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
All right. So
It seems like something you would want to do.
right, like that's. I would have done it when she did her opportunity attack if it was allowed. Where do I check that off? There
You
it
can't do
goes.
it with a reaction. So the opportunity
yeah,
attack was
yeah.
a reaction, but you can on your
So
turn.
yeah.
What's it look like when Trina enters a rage? Or was it a rave? Is that what we were
Oh.
talking about last time?
Twirling the light stick with the trunk.
So there's this actual there's this so like I talked about making a playlist for her earlier, and the thing that would happen when she enters a rage, it's I can link to it later, but it's off of the why can't I think of the the Gorillaz album Humans. It starts with the elephant interlude, which is just a really dramatic, like 10 seconds. It's like very, and from the elephant's truck, confetti. It's like that. She's mad, but it's like not really scary. It's more just like kind of ravey.
So I'm
Kind of ravey.
what I was actually just potentially imagining is like a sports bro getting pumped up for a game, like "Wah! Yeah! Ah!" that sort of thing.
Sort of, but not
but yeah,
not
I'm-
steroidy and
Sure.
more like like she would have trained in dance and stuff like that.
It's
She's
more-
not a
more like
dancer.
kinda
She
maybe-
doesn't have dexterity. She's not graceful. But
Sort
it
of-
would have been more along those lines. And a dead giveaway for her anytime when she's excited about something is that her ears, they just kind of like, they don't tremble or shake. They just like, like a puppy when you get that sweet spot when you're petting them or something, you get a good scritch going like that. So her ears just kind of do that. And because she has the rings in them, they jingle.
Nice.
So it's,
I'm partially imagining a haka.
Yeah.
yeah, that does not apply.
Sure.
If I know what you're talking about, if I'm getting
So
the
there's a
reference
little bit
correctly.
of like a rhythmic element to your movements, and you're
Absolutely.
just like what's the facial expression, like big smile or
Absolute joy.
Yeah.
She's so excited. This is what she's good at. And it's not something she got to do very often at home. It wasn't as useful there as it seems to be here.
Yeah.
So she's excited. She's thrilled. Rage is like fun for her. It's like the
Nice.
ultimate fun.
excellent. So you already rolled a 25 to hit. That definitely
Yeah.
hits. So what's the damage?
So that to hit, I mean, the modifier on the damage is. So that's 7.
Okay.
7.
Oh well, hey.
Is that right? Yeah, 2 plus 4. No, that's 8. Sorry, it's 8 melee damage.
8.
Or is it magic because I used the sequential magic weapon again?
I mean, it is magical
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm tracking that. So
Thank you.
all right. So that's another good hit. Although what you've just done, what it feels like to you is you just attacked the stone floor with your axe. It's just
Sure.
like it sort of vibrates in
Yeah.
your hand, like you just like, yep, I just clunk right on the floor. But it does seem to sort of tremble in response. Okay, sequential.
And then she would kind of step back for a second to kind of catch her breath, which
Well,
would
so
make
it
room
it
for
will get an
others.
opportunity attack if you step.
Well,
if you
not
step
moving
away,
away,
from it.
but just stepping
Make room
to
like
the
you can do
left. Yeah,
that?
just so that other people can get by. Because I realize I'm a wall.
Okay, so like right here, or
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, sequential.
Sequential would see, see the movement towards the south. So
Yeah, you
head
see-
down towards that other door.
Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You can open the door with a free action.
Wait a sec. Didn't
Yay.
Andrea go
Should
through
be
that
open
door
because
a
I just went
minute
through
ago?
it.
All right.
Oh,
head
right,
down.
yeah, so it would be open, but it would have been free action anyway. So the point is, it's open. You have one more
Cool.
square of movement, so you could just go
So
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Inside, and let's see, inside, and they would be preparing the crossbow to unleash a chaos bolt,
Nice.
the little supercharged doodad bolt. Whoops, cast, which is a ranged spell attack, which is not great. That's only a 6.
Okay. So it, I think the bolt ends up sort of dissipating across the tracks in the stone around the spot. Then, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. So this is Sorashana's turn now. I think that she basically comes around to where Carolina is and is just kind of, watchful, waiting, to see if there's some way to help. All right, Carolina, back at the top of the round. Things seem to be
Sunya?
happening now. Yes?
Is there anything in the castle that is a container that's completely made of glass, like even the lid?
Well, the container that it was stored in before, Sorashana's vacuum chamber. There are many glass jars and such.
Anything will do. Could you maybe bring something like that up?
Sure, it will take a moment.
Of course.
All right.
And let's see. I'm trying to think. I guess I'll go inside the room just so I can see what's happening.
Okay.
But I'm going to kind of stay where that cannon is, that last cannon. So yeah.
Okay. Like right
Diagonal.
here or
Yeah, diagonal up one. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else or leaving it at the
Nope.
Yeah,
that's
all
it.
right. Great. Okay, Zinhorn, you're up again.
All right. I am going to cast Sacred Flame.
Okay.
It's a dex of 12.
Yeah. It's pretty good at dex. But not when it rolls a natural 1.
I got 5 points of damage.
You see it like kind of zigging and zagging sort of erratically, and then that you are able to zap it right as it zigs in an expected way.
Excellent. Does it seem to react to the Sacred Flame damage?
Yeah. So it takes the damage. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, any are you going to move at all or stay right where you are?
I guess I can move for one position south.
Okay. All right. So, that makes it Nedry's turn.
All right. I tried this experiment before and it seemed to go well, but now I really want to see if its intelligence is up to snuff. And I'm going to try to swing at it with my dagger. Let's see. It's not a really high roll, but let's try this again. Oh, that's a dirty 20.
All right.
And as part of it, I will once again cast Booming Blade
Okay.
and do 6 points of damage to it. Piercing.
Okay. 6 points of damage. All right. And then once again, you see that there's sort of like a trembling tension coming from around the edges of it, from the residual magic of your Booming Blade spell.
That's it.
All right. That makes it its turn now. And you see smoke starting to form around its edges as it begins to burn through the floor. And so then it burns through the floor. I think it does set off the Booming Blade. So go ahead and roll that damage.
Okay. 3 points of thunder damage.
Okay. So it takes another. So there's a little bit of a detonation there, but it has just now eaten through the floor, and so you can now see that there's about a 6-inch diameter hole through the stone floor through which you can see the next floor below. And Sunia just goes, "Ow!"
Aw.
Sorry.
How big a hole?
Like 6-inch diameter. So none of you are like going through it.
No.
No. Here, let me I remove that this spot, and I'll put a little black one to indicate the hole.
Permanent changes to the map as it gets just riddled with holes.
So I don't know if anybody cares, but that means, or has made this observation, but that means it can only move along the surface. It can't move through objects.
It can fly though.
Yeah, it can leave the surface of an object and float through the air.
But it has to destroy something to go through it. It can't just, you know, be
right.
colorful.
It
through the
can't
thing.
pass. It is stuck on the surface. It can't apparently pass through the center without damaging it that way. All right, so that is its turn though. So you're up, but now it has gone through the floor.
I mean, she gonna chase it.
All right, so how are you going to do that? Which way are you going to go?
I'm assuming that she would know the lay of the land well enough by now to just take whatever the fastest way to get to that spot below us is.
You are pretty much equidistant from this northeast stairwell or the southeast stairwell.
Left.
All right. Well, so you gonna 5, 10,
South.
15,
Okay,
20,
south.
25 to get past sequential, and then 30. That's 30. Is that your current speed, or do you have a higher speed? Barbarians get higher speed eventually, but I don't know if you have it yet.
It's 30.
Okay.
But I think she would probably
You would
dash.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So
I don't know what else to do other than get to it.
20, 25, 30. So I think you get to the stairs, but it's going to be, I think it's 15 feet worth of movement to go up or down one floor in the stairs. All right.
Unfortunately, that means your rage goes away.
Yeah. Because you don't hit anything.
There's
or
nothing
take
to
any
hit,
damage.
though.
I would.
Yep.
Well, let's see.
Right? What is there to hit?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, yourself. But
Yeah. Yeah, but you used your action to rage.
yeah, but I
think
mean,
for future notice, if you do have your action available, I will allow you to do like a little bit of a cut on your arm or something like that to keep a rage going.
Okay.
If
Good to know.
if in the future you feel like you want to do that. All right. So that's Trina. She's heading downstairs. Sequential.
sequential, charge.
All right.
They will sprint down the stairs
30. And then
with the dash.
so yeah, you can you will be one square over on the next floor down. So let's I've got some exciting moving tokens around, switching back and forth different layers. So yeah, I think you would be like right here on the next floor down.
Cuckoo.
All right. So that makes it Sorashana's turn. She sees what's happening and she goes to go down the other way. Yeah. All right. So yeah, she's going to be down on the next level too, but coming from the other way. All right. Okay, so that's... Oh, and then people have come off the initiative tracker because I moved them off the page into a different map. It's fine. Okay, yeah, so that makes it, Carolina, your turn again.
I am actually going to step up to the hole,
Okay.
and I'm gonna toss in. I'm gonna toss in the peace grenade.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay. So I love that. Tell me, read to me the description of it again.
When activated, this wristband. Wait, hold on. That's not the right thing. Can't be the right thing. It says wristband projector. Is that
No,
right?
That's something else.
I may have...
That's the fish, I think.
It says detonation of peace. So
Okay, well,
I
yeah.
was under the impression it was a grenade, but
I described it as a grenade-like thing. I might have copy and
Right.
pasted something,
Okay.
something else in there. But
so this may not be the wisest course of action, but I have a +0, so you know,
Sure.
whatever. All creatures within a 100-foot radius sphere must succeed on a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw or become indifferent about any creatures they were feeling hostile toward, and
Okay.
end any violent actions they were performing or going to perform. This
100 feet?
indifference ends if the target is attacked or harmed by an effect, or if it witnesses any of its friends being harmed. After a minute, the effect ends and affected creatures become hostile again unless the GM rules otherwise.
okay, I'm going to rule that Sequential and Sorashana are now on that level and subject to the effects of this. Trina is not, but so Zinhorn, Carolina, and Nedry, through your exposure through the hole, you have advantage on your check. Even if I think Nedry would have it already anyway, because in
Which
wisdom
which
saving
kind
throw.
is it? Sorry.
Wisdom.
Which save? Oh, okay.
Wisdom, DC 13.
Yeah. All right. It rolled really low. It got a 5. But so I think everyone except Trina is making the roll, but Zinhorn, Carolina, and Nedry get advantage.
That is a
And what's the target?
Oh, I think 13. You said?
13.
13. Does my
18.
wisdom adjustment count?
What do you mean?
Yeah, your
Plus
saving throw.
two.
There will be a block on your character sheet for saving
Yeah.
throws.
Oh, duh. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think with clerics, have wisdom saving throw proficiency. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a 23.
Okay. So yeah, you're fine. Nedry.
Dirty 20.
Okay, you're good. Carolina, did you?
17.
Okay, yeah, you're good. Sorashana gets a natural 20, so yeah, she's okay too. Sequential.
17.
Okay, everyone's good except the color. So I think what happens down here on the library level is that we have this thing is floating in the air currently. It's separated from the surface. But what happens is, actually, I think probably neither of you have eyes on it, but what you saw happen is that there was some sort of a shockwave that kind of came in and like rushed through you past the hallways. And honestly, what it kind of felt like, even though it was a shockwave, it a little bit like startling, but as it passed through, it just kind of gave you a general feeling of like, oh yeah, this is fine. But you realize that you are not affected magically by anything. But I don't think you have eyes on the color right now from your angle. Okay. So that makes it. That was Carolina's turn. Are you doing anything else? You moved up to do that.
Yeah, but I'll probably start heading back towards the stairs or
Okay.
one of the staircases. It doesn't matter
Well,
which.
So you moved.
Probably follow where Shorshana went because I know she was
Okay.
towards the other one, so probably go that way.
So I think you probably only get back out into the hallway here
Mhm.
on this turn. Okay, Zinhorn.
I'm gonna head for the hall, for the stairs at top speed.
Okay, 1, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So you
I guess
basically
that's a
catch up.
dash.
You catch up with Trina there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're at the top of the stairs currently. All right, Nedry.
That was a really weird feeling. I'm going to take off and run, I guess, north because I think it's closer to those stairs.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, because you have a speed of 25 feet, right?
That's right.
Yep. Okay. So that means it is the color's turn, and so I think, although Sequential and Soroshana will see this in a moment, so I don't think you. You know what? I'll just say you don't see what it does because you don't have eyes on it at the moment, and everyone moved away from the hole upstairs. So, all right, that makes it Trina's turn. You continue down the stairs, I would imagine.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think you use 15 feet to get to the bottom of the stairs. So you would have another 3 squares of movement and still have your action. So what, you're rushing in are you rushing out onto the into the
Yeah, I'm
spaceship?
I'd like to use if I can get in line of sight of it, I'd like to use my javelin.
Okay. I think without using your action to dash, you're not quite in line of sight
Okay.
yet. But you can dash to get eyes on it.
Yeah, let me dash to get in front of it. So if it
Okay.
attacks anybody else, it's
All right.
me.
So what you see as you come around the corner here is these doors are open.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that it's on the floor in the surface again, but seems to be stationary. Like before it had been kind of quivering and moving around erratically a little bit. Now it seems like chill again.
Okay. And I used my movement already. My action.
So you would
right?
have more movement if you wanted, but you did use your action. Would you want to
And
move
is-
another 3
is there-
squares or something?
Sorry?
Would you want to move another 3 squares?
No, but there's no one else like anywhere in sight though, right? We don't have to worry about anybody else getting harmed.
Well, there's no one in sight right now, but I think you hear ahead of you. There's people coming down the stairs up over there. So
Okay.
you hear people heading in your direction from there.
I'm gonna just stay where I'm at and give it some space since it's chill for now and not get any closer.
Okay. So I am going to say that both sets of doors here are open because they both open into their respective rooms, and the detonation kind of just pushed them open.
Yeah.
All right. So that's Trina's turn. Sequential's turn.
Do I know, is there any other indication for me that was coming down the stairs when the spell went off that
I mean,
there
I
was a
think
spell
you
that went
heard.
off?
I think you heard something kind of go, but you don't know what it was necessarily.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Okay, Sequential.
I'm gonna charge, follow Trina.
So you are here with another 10 feet, so you could move past her into the adjacent square if you wanted, or you could be one square over in either room.
Can I cast around her?
Well, what you need, like a line of sight or something?
Yeah, right.
All right. I think that because it's tight quarters in the hallway there, that if you drop prone, then you can cast it between her legs.
Can we retcon that I would have dropped to a knee or something like that, that I would have had the forethought, or should I just remember that for next time?
Well, I think that that's maybe a plan ahead sort of thing.
Yeah.
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 That's how I'll learn.
Yeah, your thought was protecting, so.
Well,
you know.
but so like,
that's
but
true.
this can be
Protecting.
the object lesson of like, oh yeah, maybe you're not used to working with the team, so yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would go ahead and well.
Or I mean, you can push past her. It would just be then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is to
Yeah.
push past into the lab.
Okay, so like here.
Yeah,
All right.
and
And so you see what Trina sees, which is that it once again seems kind of, not dormant like when you had defeated it before, but like, calm, like it was on the cannon when you first approached it.
yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and unleash another chaos bolt.
All right. Let's see those beautiful attack roll footage.
Bring. That would be 13.
13 just hits.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Chaos. Okay. Let's see, the type of damage would be. Let's see. It says one of the die you roll is poison. All right. 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 13. So 15 points of poison damage.
Well, it is not immune to poison damage or resistant, even though it feels like it would be. But the stat block doesn't say that, so I'm not going to introduce it if it's not there. So how much is the damage?
13?
Ooh,
Oh no,
Okay.
no, 15.
wow, there you
15.
go. Yeah, it's looking like the edges are less sort of defined, and it's a little bit like runny at the edges right now. But it does seem to be sort of quivering again, like it's sort of reactivated. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. All right, so and then it's sort of Shauna's turn now, and she runs up enough here to see what's happening, and then I think she kind of stops on her heels and says, "What do we do?" And
We're hitting it.
all right, and so then we're back up to Carolina. She doesn't attack or anything. So Carolina, your turn. You were heading for the stairs.
Yep, and I'm going to dash to get downstairs, and hopefully nobody's attacked it in the meantime.
Should have led with that.
So
Only have so much time.
I know.
all right, have to. So I think you with a dash can get to here. Let me put everyone back on the. So there we go. And your initiative was 6 sequential. What was it? 8 something. It was
9.
9. All right. Okay. So so Carolina, with a dash, you get to here, and you can see that, you can kind of just see around the corner here that there's some stuff happening apparently, but.
That's all I got.
Yep.
So.
All right. Zinhorn, you are also headed for the stairs, so you can get down to the next level with your regular movement, you can get to here.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I might as well dash.
So 3, 4. So you would have another 10 feet of movement. So you could also kind of get to here or here if you wanted to be adjacent to it.
Yeah, on the right.
Okay, like that.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Nedry is also heading downstairs, so I think with your regular movement, you just get to the bottom of the stairs. Like that.
Too many stairs. Must find spells to make this easier. And kind of pushing past Carolina because he wants to see what's going on. So he'll dash out there. Did it get away? Is it still there? What's going on? Did it work? I don't understand. What's
would
going
you have
on?
pushed past like all the way to there? That would probably be what you would have to do that to get to see it, unless you were kind of trying to look between Sorashana's legs.
No, he would want to see up close. So,
Okay. Yep. There you go.
Oh, it's still here.
Yeah, and it seems like it's reactive again, and it is its turn now. And what it does is once again burn through the floor.
Does that mean attack of opportunities?
I think in this case, no, because by the time like as soon as it's going through, you're no longer have like access to it, right? It's not like it's running by and you can take a swing at its back. It's like it's like dropped through the floor, and so you don't have any angle of attack on it.
Oh man, I just got here.
Yeah. All right. So once again. All right. So that is its turn. And now that's Trina, your turn.
Well, this is fun. Getting my cardio. Glad I ate light. Gonna guess head to the next level down.
All right. All right. So once again.
Oh.
3, 4, 5. So you can get partly down the stairs with your regular movement, and then so presumably you would be, using your dash to go the rest of the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you get to, like here, on the next floor down.
Okay. Can't see it at all, I'm sure.
No, because like the layout, like it would have come through like around there, but you can't see it from where you are. Would you go in through this little maps and paints room, or would you be going around to the big hall, do you think?
If I think I would go directly to where I think it's going to land. So if I think it's going to land,
Yeah, so
then I would go
this
through
way
that
first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So sequential, that's you.
Sprint
Yeah.
back down the stairs. The stars.
20, 25, 30. So, yeah, you also can, you can get, with your dash, you can get just behind where Trina is.
Cuckoo.
All right. And then that is Sorashana's turn. She is basically doing the same thing. She's rushing right. So, like, you just get there, Carolina, and then all of a sudden everyone's running back again. So, all right. And so she is, she's going to show up here. All right. And then that's back to Carolina.
There's a floor below that next one, correct?
So Yeah, the level that is right below here is where the big map room and the great hall and presumably Yobert's quarters are, although you haven't been in there. The floor below that is where there's the kitchens and other like servants' quarters, but like there isn't really anybody in those right now. And then there's one level below that, which is presumably the mechanical stuff for the flying parts of the castle, but you guys actually haven't really gone down there.
I'm gonna dash, but I'm gonna go down 2 floors instead
Okay.
of just 1.
Sure. Okay. So I think with your regular movement, you get to the bottom of the stairs 1 level down. And so then with a dash, you can be 2 levels down. And be like coming out here.
Well, immediately upon arrival, I won't grab anything, but I will be looking for any glass container with a glass lid that is like
yeah,
not
in fact,
metal
you know
or
what?
stone.
I'm actually going to say, as you are coming down the stairs, you see a glass, like cookie jar sort of dish with a glass like lid on it, floating up the stairs, and you almost run into it. And Sunia just says, "Oh, I was bringing it to you."
Thank you.
So I'll even let you
Yeah.
be holding that now.
Yes,
All right.
I will take it.
Your hair sort of ruffles as you run right through whatever this unseen servant thing was.
Ooh. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Zinhorn.
I'm gonna go up to the hole and look straight down.
Okay.
Can I see it?
Yeah, you see it, like once again, sort of floating in the air below.
All right, I'm gonna hit it with Sacred Flame.
Okay.
Dex 12.
It got an 11.
Awesome. Whopping 1 point of damage.
All right. You guys are whittling it down, though. All right, so that's you've only got 5 feet of movement on this turn. Are you going to stay right there, or?
No, I'm heading for the. Well, you know what? I am going to stay right there. If it
Okay.
goes straight down again,
Sure.
I'll have another shot.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your turn, Nedry.
I'm going to make an assumption here because we have nothing, so I'm going to assume just sitting around in her lab
Okay.
because some people have dibs. The piece grenade was grabbed, for example, but I think one that was not grabbed was the gearbox ring.
Right. I'm trying to remember. Remind me what that one was.
I had a note that Carolina had it.
Okay.
Yeah, I identified it, but I don't know that I took it. There was something that you gave me, something defensive, but it's not on my sheet, and I don't remember what it was. It was definitely
an-
something more like
all I have are the
Acid
grenade or
grenade
something like
in the
that.
ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an acid grenade in the ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely told me to take the
Well-
acid grenade, but
Right. So there was the ring
yeah.
that was like for levitate, right?
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Carolina had that. Did I not give you that
shit.
as a
Never
magic
mind
item in D&D Beyond?
no,
don't
none
know.
of that
Okay,
stuff
I'll
was
try
in.
to
It
remember
was
to
just
do
the
that. Sorry.
Peace grenade.
Well, there goes that idea then.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have taken it if somebody else wanted it. I just identified it. Was all
Yeah,
it
she said
was.
she identified it if you wanted it.
I could have just set it back down on the
I
thing
mean,
because
I'm
it's
kinda
not
hoping it's in
technically in my inventory.
You want it, Mark.
I do want it. Yes.
I feel
Well-
that's something that you two would have worked out. And that's
I
probably
feel
in
like that's
Audrey's-
something that you did not discuss, and if you want to discuss it in the future, you can certainly do that.
I felt
but-
we just left them there because we weren't carrying everything with us.
Well, some
Yeah,
people were,
the only
though.
thing I knew I
Yeah,
had was that
I-
other grenade.
Yeah, I had, well, like on the spreadsheet, I had just put it that sequential
Right.
through everything
So-
in their backpack, except for those 2 things were on Carolina.
So, as DM, I'm going to rule in a way as to encourage you to keep close track of these things in the future by saying, If we didn't give it to you before, you don't have it now.
Okay. Then I've got nothing, I think. I can try. Nedry will walk up to the hole,
Okay.
pull out his pen.
Uh-huh.
I can see the thing through the hole. Is that
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
what you
It's
established?
currently
Okay.
in the air on the next level down.
All right. It didn't work last time, but maybe this time. And I'm going to try to cast sleep on it.
Okay. Let's see. All right.
And
yeah.
I don't know how tall the floors are, but it would be a bit of an angle.
Yeah. So go ahead and roll the hit points.
For the,
I mean, I think you can target where it is.
it's a 20-foot radius is the only problem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can no worries though. I mean, I think Nedry wouldn't necessarily know who else could theoretically be within that radius, but
He's just hoping everybody else is at the stairs at this point.
well, yeah. I mean, you don't know how. Yeah, so like the next level down, you don't know how close people are there, but I mean,
so
you're
that's
doing what you can.
26 hit points worth of
Wow, really?
Hmm.
That's more than I expected. Yeah, so I think you see it's sort of like twitching around and flickering as it floats down, and I think as you cast that, you see it suddenly start to just drift a little bit more like a dust mote. It's not
Work this time.
falling, but it does seem like it's kind of more passively floating in the air rather than sort of concertedly moving.
The vacuum thing that seemed to at least hold it for a while, that's in Sorashana's room?
Yeah, it was in her lab.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
so
that a portable thing or is that a fixed in place?
Well, so I think you can grab the container pieces of it, but the part that would allow you to pump the air out, you can't grab that as easily.
Okay.
So basically, it has so the way that you pump the air out, it has a little valve with glass pieces that you open to use the pump to pump out the air and then close it. And so you can get the container, which is currently in two parts, but the pump piece would be too much for you to carry.
Okay. Yeah, you might as well try to get that.
Okay.
So I'll go into the lab there and
All
see if
right.
you can find it.
Yeah, I think you know where it is. You can go just right to it. But I think that's probably
Okay.
the extent of your turn now. All right. Cool. So that is its turn right now. But I think those of you... no one has sight on it yet in the next level down, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
so you... but Zinhorn, you can see through the hole because that you stayed there to watch it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think you see that it seems to be just sort of drifting in the air now, kind of like it was sort of like fleeing downward before, but now it seems to just be passively drifting on the air currents.
I'm gonna hold an action for Sacred Flame.
Okay, so if it seems to activate again, you'll do the Sacred Flame?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Wait a minute. So we just had... Oh, so it wasn't your turn. It was just that you were the only one able to see it. So it was its turn. So, yeah. So you can maybe do that on your next turn, but I was just confirming that you're the only one that can see what it's doing right now.
Okay.
And what it's doing is nothing. But Trina, now it's your turn. So you'd be looking for it, I would guess, right?
Yes.
So you would head through into the map room, and I think, even though I've put it on the map to show where it is, I think you wouldn't necessarily know for sure where it would have come
Right.
out. But make a perception check in this room.
I'm gonna look at the
You know what?
ceiling.
Never mind.
and
I'm gonna
try to perceive.
never mind the check. I just realized that's silly. So I think you come into this room, you look, and you don't see a hole in the ceiling, and so you conclude that you go through here, and then you do
Okay.
see it floating in the air.
Okay.
So I think you could get to here and still have your action.
Oh, okay. So
But it
that's
does
what,
seem to
10
be
feet?
drifting.
Is that
Yeah, so it's like 10, 15 feet. I mean, I would allow 10 feet if you have something you would do.
I'm gonna whip it.
Okay.
I'm gonna whip it good.
All right.
Sorry. That is that's only an 11 to hit.
Okay, and 11 misses, unfortunately.
Right.
Like you whip, but you realize that this is just like this is the size of a marble, just floating
Yeah.
in the air. It's even with you're pretty good at the whip, like it's hard to hit a tiny little thing like that. Okay.
And I will take a knee.
All right. So sequential, your turn. So
All right.
5, 10,
Sequential would
15.
follow suit.
Yeah, so you can once again get to there, but like Trina, you would see that it seems to be more kind of passively floating again.
I'm going to hold an action. I'm going to knock a crossbow bolt. So if it starts moving again, I'll fire at it.
Okay.
But I will hold an action.
Great.
Hold that action.
Okay. Sorashana's turn. So I think she comes around the corner here and sees it kind of stops there and just looks like past it at the two of you and just says, Has it stopped?
Yeah. Said you may have a way to contain it or to deal with it.
Well, here. And she turns around and goes back, runs the other way. So interpret that how you like. And so then, Carolina, it's your turn again. So you are one level down. You now have the
Cookie jar.
the cookie jar.
Sonia, what's the status on the color?
It seems to just be floating in the air on the next level up right now. In the corridor between the Great Hall and the map room.
Peter,
Thank you. And I will dash up that way.
Okay. So you can get. I think you get to here with your regular movement, and you see Sorashana just heading past to go further up. You think? So that's you get to there with your regular movement.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to dash, and as I am running,
Okay.
say, "I got a jar! I got a jar! Don't let it get away!"
Okay, you can get to there with the dash.
Okay.
And so you trying to end sequential.
Way to
You
get
see
the jar.
Carolina hurrying in, holding this, this like like I said, cookie jar sort of thing. All right, it's probably more like a candy jar now. I'm just thinking about it. One of those big candy jars, like you put jelly beans in or something like that. All right, Zinhorn. You are still one level up, looking down through the hole. It has not changed its behavior yet. You want to do your held action now?
I am holding my action.
Great. Okay, Nedry, what about you? You were going to go grab the vacuum container, right?
Yep. I'll go over to the hole
Okay.
and yell down. I've got Sorashana's. What do we call this? Bottle? I think we can contain it. Just don't hurt it. It should be asleep. It's hard to tell because it doesn't snore. And then head towards the stairs with the remaining
All right.
bit of
Yeah,
movement I have.
I think you can maybe get like there with your regular movement, but I think the talking is your action to say all that.
Yep.
All right. Okay. sleep doesn't have a save to wake up out of it sooner, right? I don't think.
Nope.
I don't think it does.
Unless someone actively does
Right,
it
yeah.
or hurts it or the time runs
All
out.
right, yeah. So it's like, yes, the paint splotch from the another dimension is apparently sleep. So, all right. So Trina, you have heard some of that going on, but you're now you're looking at it. It's you're down on one knee. You know, Carolina's got a candy jar. Nedry says it's asleep through the ceiling.
I am going to hold an action.
Okay.
Don't wanna. But I will hold my action going back to I don't know. Can my held action include movement or is it only the attack?
No, only the attack. You can move first and then hold the action. So
I'm
you could
going
move up
to-
closer and then hold an action if you wanted.
And pardon my asking, I should know by now, but are the squares, are they 5-foot squares or 10-foot
They're
squares?
5-foot squares.
They're 5-foot squares. So she's
Yeah.
just gonna move up 5 feet.
Okay, right here.
I think that's all I need.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna hold an action using the Sequential's Magical Great Axe.
All right.
And yeah.
You should actually probably be here to do regular melee. Excuse me.
On a knee,
Yeah. All right.
like a lady, toes pointed.
Sequential.
So you're gonna jar it?
That's the plan.
I will continue holding my action on it. And
Watch my back.
keep a
my
bead on
front.
it.
Yep.
Whatever.
All right. So I think Sorashana sees you rush past with the candy jar, Carolina, and so she turns around to follow you. And she says, if it's stopped, it might be weak enough to try the pin.
Well, I can't do both. So, I think I probably would have stuck the pin like behind my ear,
Okay.
like so I could hold the cookie jar. And so I would just like flip my hair back and be like, "Go ahead if you want to do the honors."
You do that, and she kind of like hesitates, like she doesn't want to touch it.
My hands are full.
Nonetheless, all right, it is your turn now, Carolina.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna, because she's uncomfortable, I'm gonna hand her the jar instead.
Okay.
Say, if this doesn't work, you got to get it. And I will take the pin and walk up to it, and I just have to touch it with the pin, right?
I think so.
Okay. So I will kind of aim it because it's kind of floating aimlessly and just like dink.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say make a melee attack roll, like you would with your sword or something.
Okay. That is a 17.
Okay. When you start to poke it, at first, you have sort of a strange visual experience that like it moves away as though like you're pressing against some resistance pressure, but you have a vague impression that somehow, if you imagine you were going to there's a bed sheet hanging vertically, right? And you were to go to try to poke something through it, like it would bend away before it pierced, right? You get the vague feeling like the space in where it's floating does that. Like there's some resistance, but you feel like it isn't that the little moat is trying to stay where it is. You feel like you're pushing against space.
That's weird.
But as you push, the end that you're holding in your hand suddenly gets extremely hot. And in fact, you take 4 fire damage.
Ooh.
But as you feel like the tip of the pin finally like penetrate, there is a sensation that like something in the air so immediately just goes and the mote is just gone.
So I drop the pin and kind of shake my hand. It's like, that's hot.
And Sorashana is behind you, jumping around in circles, saying, "It worked! It worked! It worked! It worked!"
So I'm looking down, and all I can see is Carolina's hand through the hole. Do you need the sacred flame?
No. No. You got it. It's fine. Thank you.
You sure?
Positive. No more burning. I think it's gone. You think?
So, I think
Disengage the crossbow.
yeah. So we are no longer in an initiative.
Disengage the bottle.
Pick
And,
up the pin again. Is it still hot?
It's cooling, but you can pick it up in the middle. It seems to only be the large mechanism at the end that was hot. And so you can kind of just grab it in the middle and it's cool enough to handle that way. The other part is kind of glowing a little bit, but cooling.
I'm going to come downstairs and do healing word. So I can get Trina and I forgot the Starless character's name.
Carolina.
Carolina back up to full.
Are you coming down too, Nedry?
Yeah, I'll put the bottle back first,
Okay.
and then tromp on down,
Sure.
or run down probably.
And I think shortly after you're kind of gathering and sort of making sure everyone's okay, through the door right here, Brendan comes through and just says, "Sunia told me that you got it under control. Is everything okay? I was just making sure Yobert was protected in case it came that way."
Other
was
than a
that
few
thing?
structural modifications, it seems to be okay.
And he kind of turns
Sonia,
around
are
and,
you
like,
all right?
He looks up through the hole and just whistles. And Sunia just says, "Well, I'm not thrilled, but I'll be fine. It'll probably take me a couple of weeks to fix."
Is there anything we can do to help?
Well, just maybe put something over it so you don't trip and put your foot through it by accident. I would hate for anyone else to be hurt as a result of it, but just cover it and I can. It's like healing, but it just takes a while.
I would try to run back upstairs to the floor and try the mending spell.
I think that it's too big. It's too big a thing. But she says that I appreciate the effort. I think that if we were to call some construction mage-rights, that they could maybe do something. But that feels a little personal. I just would. I can take care of it. Just put something over it so you don't trip.
I have so many questions. But
As
first,
you wish.
Thank you for
What did you
stopping
do,
it before
Carolina?
it did more.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was.
I think-
It was a pin that Shorashana had.
Can I see it?
It's actually, and I'm going to look to Shorashana for permission.
Yeah, she
Before I hand it
has lifted the mask up and she's smiling and she just says yes.
I will carefully hand it to Nedry. Watch the end. It's still a little warm.
and there's a little ouch as he has to try it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's no longer hot enough to damage, but it could be uncomfortably warm.
How does it work? What is it? Can we use it again? Asking Sorashana all this barrage of questions suddenly.
it probably needs some time to charge up again, but it yeah, if you sometimes think of the space between planes like a membrane, it's designed to pop.
Wow. I never thought of it that way. That's an entirely different theory than the ones they usually give us. Most of the time, it's more like different places that aren't really connected, but they have these long tunnels. I never really understood the tunnel analogy. Do you have more than one of these?
Well, that's the only one so far.
You can make more?
Maybe, yeah, probably. I think that one was an accident.
Well,
It was a great accident.
It was a very happy accident. See, not all mistakes are
I-
bad, and this one turned out just fine.
I was thinking about why it was still here if it was dormant or inactive, and it was like I was saying that it was actually not really here. We were only seeing kind of just part of what it really is, and so something was sticking it to our world, and what we needed was something to unstick it by sticking it.
So you think it was part of a larger being of some kind? Kind of like we just saw someone's foot being stuck out of a box?
Well, larger is relative in when you're talking about other dimensions. Because like she points up at the hole, right? And she says, like, if Zinhorn were to stick his arm through the hole, down here we would only see his hand, right?
Exactly. I think I understand. That's pretty neat. Huh. But that does mean that maybe if there's more than one of these holes, that more of this thing could come through. I wonder if it was connected to the explosion. Like the explosion put a hole and then things sort of stuck its foot through, kind of like the floor or the ceiling, depending on which perspective you're at. It really was just walking along and then fell into the hole.
Maybe. It's like it's not like a balloon, where like if you pop a balloon, pop, it's gone. It's no more. The balloon is all just pieces. But dimensional membranes aren't like that. You make a hole, but the hole closes again. But if there's a thing that's got its hand through the hole, it can't close. So we had to poke it back through the hole.
You learn all this stuff.
That,
So hopefully-
that does remind me. I wanted to ask, when the little disposal pocket exploded, do you think the Midnight Stone would have been destroyed along with it, or just buried?
I wanted to check that.
It might still be. Because it wasn't inside. It was the activation. So it might still be there.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if the magic was connected to it in some way that would make it explode.
I'm not sure. I don't understand everything about how the feather crystal made all that happen. But I know if the Midnight Stone was the reservoir for all of the magic energy that made that pocket happen, then when the pocket was destroyed, it might have damaged the stone, but maybe not. It might still be there.
It would be worth checking. Professor Tinta suggested it's really, really powerful. And if that's the case, it would be better that we got it than someone else. Even if it's partially damaged, it still might be usable.
She's looking blank when you say Professor Tinthus.
Uh,
I think
and-
actually Sunia just says, "Oh, like from the letter."
Yes, exactly. And I would actually look at Brennan. I said, I don't know if he's feeling well or not, but you may want to suggest to Yobar that I don't.
Well,
Professor
here
Tinthus seemed.
let's have this conversation together. And
Right
he'll.
now,
Well, I mean,
I really don't want that crystal to sit there too much longer.
Well, that's what the conversation is about.
yeah. So he actually leads you. Well, I'm trying to reveal an area, not hide it. There we go. Yeah. So he leads you through this door here, and there's like a sitting room, and Yobera is sitting on the couch there, kind of looking expectantly. He's just, is everything all right? So,
The color has been removed.
so
We got the spot out.
you're all invited now to kind of come into this little sitting room if you like. So we can imagine that you're maybe having this conversation in there. I don't know. Who would sit? There's sort of two couches each with a.
Squinchle's used to heading to a corner.
Yeah.
I think Nedry's got too much on his mind. He'll be pacing around.
Okay. All right.
Carolina would probably sit, but like across from Yobar.
I think Soroshana actually will
Yobear?
sit next to Yobear.
Yobar.
Yobear. Yeah.
Yo,
So
bear.
and then Zinhorn or Trina, would you sit next to Carolina?
Yo, bear.
Or
Yeah, I'll sit next to Carolina.
all right.
Yeah, I'm fine against the wall.
All right, so actually, I think for a little bit, since we're not like tactically moving around the house anymore, I'll take us back to our usual layout here. So, so yes, you can fill in Yobera on like just the events that just transpired, and I would imagine also, unless there's anything you were keeping from him, you can just explain what you learned over the course of that day.
And yeah, one thing I would be sure to tell him was that Professor Tinthus seemed very keen to get his hands on the Midnight Stone, and he seemed like he was on the up and up. But if he, like it wouldn't take a large leap of logic to figure out where this incident happened, and because he would know what it was connected to, and so he might go looking for it himself.
He's
which
willing to work
might-
with us so much as we share some notes with him and maybe a little money. He seems
Well-
like an interesting researcher.
I mean, I'm very glad he was helpful. I think that that's something that we, if he can be a useful contact for us, certainly the Institute does have a lot of specialized equipment that could come in handy. As much as Soroshana has cobbled together an excellent workshop here, it does not have everything that the Institute has. So if we could develop him as a contact there, I think that would be tremendously useful. So in that sense, I would think that it's probably worthwhile to continue working with him as long as you say, your impression is that he is forthright. It's certainly true that some of the things that we've just learned about this are I don't know how much all of you have experience with academic circles. I tend to only have tangential experience myself, but in the philanthropy arena, researchers are always looking for grants, and they're always looking for something that they can study that no one else has access to. And so it sounds like Midnight Stone is something that he would be interested in, and not merely a stone, but a stone that was used for a specific purpose by people unknown who are perhaps connected to Dawn's Tier of all things.
Pretty
Master-
wild.
Magic flows from coin. I didn't understand that until now.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't promise anything before getting Shorashana's feelings on it, because I know that she would be very interested in studying it herself.
Yeah, so Yobert kind of turns to her, and she has, like, in the close quarters, she's put her mask down again. But she does kind of nod and say, I've seen them before. I want to study it, but it's true that, like, if maybe I would want to see what he has in his lab. He might have things that I would want to use to study the stone. So maybe if I could go and use his lab, that would be okay. But
He did say he had quite a lab.
Yes, he said he had lots of equipment.
she starts to kind of like fidget a little bit though, and Yobert kind of says, "It's all right. I'm sure that we can make arrangements for you to participate in the research to as much or little as you are comfortable." She kind of
course.
slows down a little bit.
I don't know anybody who knows as much stuff about this as you do. Of course you're involved. I'm going to be asking you questions anyway.
And she kind of nods. She says, I am sorry. I'm sorry, everybody, for I should have waited to try the pin until you were all here because I could see it was not as dormant anymore, but I thought that I could try to hit it with the pin before it got away, but then it got away, and because you weren't here, I was just really lucky that you guys were so close.
I really like this pin. We're going to need more of it, actually, because if we encounter more things like that, it'd be better to have something like this on hand. Mm-hmm. To be honest, before, we were really just sort of, well, shooting in a hole. Or dark. I forget where that goes.
Well, I think once it's able to recharge, it could be used like any other place where the membrane between planes is thin or weak for some reason.
Could you?
You've got another gadget
to even like close, even close like a portal between places. Could you use it for something that large?
I don't think that would work, because if there's a portal, there's usually something like keeping it open. This doesn't close. It just disrupts. So if there's a place where it's weak, it can make a hole for a little bit, but then it'll close up again. But if there's a portal or something else magic that's already making an opening, it won't stop that.
Especially if they're held open by stuff like a midnight stone. It does mean that we should probably make sure we go back to the oaf, not just for the midnight stone, but just to make sure there aren't more of these little things poking around. Mm-hmm. They would be pretty easy to hide.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Yobert says, I think today Magistrate's office was bringing a lot of construction crews in to try to cart most of what debris remained away. So we can check at the oaf, but it's possible that everything would have been taken away already.
We might have to find where they dumped it all. Also, we might have to talk to some of the people there to find out if they've seen any strange lights or colors.
Mm-hmm.
It was at the very bottom, so if they weren't totally efficient, which sometimes they're not, the Midnight Stone would have been at the very, 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 very bottom of the pile, being in the basement and at the epicenter of, the
So
stuff.
You say that Professor Tinthus also mentioned this all happened. Everything happened with Alistair and Isilda at around the same time as the Reclaimers Mansion.
That's what his message said, yes.
Well, as a former adventurer, the Reclaimers were kind of notorious, right? Because, adventurers of all stripes know the thrill of exploring an ancient ruin and recovering some arcane magical treasure, but the Reclaimers kind of, militarized the process, you might say, and did it for the glory of Empire, which, I'm not opposed to the Empire per se, but there's a little bit of I'm hearing an electrical buzzing from somewhere. Do anyone know where that might be? It seems like it stopped now. Anyway, so but just it was sort of the idea of what happened to them. Sometimes there's just theories about, like, what did they uncover that was able to annihilate the whole organization overnight. Like, that feels connected to me too.
It was a government sponsored type of agency group.
Well, it was more government sanctioned. My understanding, and bear in mind this is before my time, but I believe that what happened was that the originator, the founder, was raised up to noble and given sort of a commission to form this task force. And so it was under his jurisdiction, but it was for the good of the empire.
I've got a working theory which ties it all together, but I'm not really sure about what some of the leaps I'm making. We know that Alistair and Isolde were tied to Denethor. We're not exactly sure how that really means things, but both of them, including Alistair's own dead body, said that they were kind of protecting it. Now that we sort of know that Denethor is a place, it makes a little more sense. If the Reclaimers, though, were people that went out to find things, then Denethor would be a big prize. Maybe they found something close to it, and maybe that's why, if they are connected, Alistair and Isolde may have had part of what to do with the whole problem of the Reclaimers going away. They might have tried to get whatever they had or stop them from finding something. I don't think that they're the enemy that Alistair talked about, but they might be. Of course, he died or was trapped after that, which means that the Reclaimers didn't entirely disappear if they're the ones that I'm talking about, or the ones that I'm thinking about. So basically, they tried to hurt the Reclaimers vanished, some got revenge, and may still be pursuing Denethor, but it's a long shot on a bunch of different features, and it's 85 years ago, so it's a little bit of a stretch.
Well, there's no question that if there's any sort of lead that suggests that Dawn's Tier is a real place, that absolutely would be a prize, wouldn't it, Brennan? And he's like, uh-huh.
And even if it's not, I mean, even if it really is just a legend, if there's something like it, like Carolina said the other day, for all of the stories, there's something true at the start. So maybe it doesn't actually exist as everybody thinks it does, but maybe something does. And that would be enough to, well, bring the Reclaimers out. And if Isolde and Alistair were still defending whatever they thought it was, it would still put them in opposition.
If Alistair went missing and nobody really knows what happened to Isilda, what if, I mean, clearly the two of them had some very powerful magic if they were able to, create this pocket dimension with the Midnight Stone and everything. So, I mean, maybe it was Isilda that attacked the Reclaimers kind of in advance after Alistair went missing.
We don't really know the time frame there, but yeah, that's another possibility.
Well, so were you able to speak with the real estate individual, Bertoluneros?
No, we missed that one. It was getting very late.
There were a lot of books to read.
Well, you found out quite a bit, so I'm not at all disappointed. But that may be an unexplored lead still to follow. I think that the address that you got from registration, or if there are other related properties to the Cunning Oath, if there's any other connection there, that might give us another place to explore.
Definitely. I wonder if he sold both of those places.
The other building no longer exists, but I mean, whether that's because, the city changes or, it was torn down, we don't know that part
In
yet.
85 years.
I mean, he might know if he was the one to deal with the other one. Or he might know some other people who do if he works in the real estate. What's so real about it? I don't understand that part.
Well, it just means the buying and selling of property, land.
Why don't they just call it that then?
Real estate is shorter.
More economical.
I wonder if there's unreal estate or surreal estate. That's another research project.
That's in the ethereal plane.
I think I've been some places that I would have called surreal estate.
Hey, maybe pocket dimensions are actually unreal estate. I wonder if there's a market in them.
I don't know. It would have to be fascinating to meet a surreal estate agent.
Maybe we already have.
All right, we've gotten a little bit hypothetical here.
Yes. Let's rein this in a bit.
I want to say, though, that I am tremendously pleased with your progress so far. I mean, this is a fascinating mystery. Oh, Brennan, if it was 15 years ago, eh? Brennan says, well, you know, at least we're tangentially involved.
I mean, if it were 15 years ago, I wouldn't be much help to you. I could spell.
Well, all the better that we're having it happen now, then, yes? So perhaps the real estate agent tomorrow, I can inquire with the magistrate's office to see where the material collected from, you know, the cutting oaf and environs would have been taken. I'm sure they have a yard where they take that sort of debris. I'm not clear on that. I would have to inquire. But it's also true, as I've heard, that some of the items recovered from that junk turned out to be not junk so much as functional magic items. So hopefully not too many of those were misplaced along the way.
There were a lot of scavengers. Oh, while we were talking about the Reclaimers Academy, I get the impression that it's not a place people are really allowed to go.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Well, the mansion is still there. I mean, it is certainly private property.
Who owns it now?
I'm not sure.
Could you find out?
I mean, I can certainly make inquiries. Perhaps the real estate agent will know.
True. Because I think that's something else that's definitely worth checking out. Mm-hmm. Now that we sort of maybe know a little bit more about what to look for.
It does seem like auspicious timing, for certain. So, one day's adventure under our belts. I don't know about you, but it's been a little bit of excitement for me. Just hearing that there's an extra dimensional thing afoot within the house. So I am extraordinarily pleased, though, that this is all that I could have hoped for so far, and I'm looking forward to finding out more.
I can't wait to go back to the library.
So what's for dinner?
Brennan claps his hands. Well, let me tell you. And then he tells you, and it's good. You like it. I am going to have us brush along a little bit, though, rather than spend too much time there. I am going to say that as you all, unless you have any specific business you would want to discuss before you, have dinner and then go to bed for a long rest, you will get to be level 3 when you complete your long rest. So
We should really talk about where we store all these weird things we find.
Yay.
Trina and Carolina got 5 hit points back.
Thank you.
Probably also like during the night after everybody's calmed down, Carolina would busy herself with writing out some little cards sticking them in her pocket. Just a little stack of them.
Okay. So as you all are leveling up, do you want to cover real quick what you get, just because that's fun to talk about, I think?
I am choosing my college.
Yeah. Or if you guys would rather, you can kind of keep it under wraps until you display it at the appropriate time or something like that. So I think
I think
that...
that
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to say that I think that Nedry will be staying up extra late to work on things in his spell book.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody would notice necessarily, but if they do, I can tell what they see.
Well, so I think Zinhorn and Nedry get second level spells, right? And then, you guys tell me if you want to take any time on that, or whether we just kind of move forward.
Well, I can give you all the basics.
Sure,
if you want,
sure.
Because
Like,
I have decided.
Yeah.
I have decided to take the College of Eloquence.
Oh, okay.
I get expertise on 2 skill proficiencies. I have Silver Tongue, which whenever I make a charisma, persuasion, or deception check, I can treat a roll of 9 or lower as a 10. And then I get the power of gaslighting, basically.
Very nice.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. So, in order to, and then I think what trying to get is that I think, like, overnight, as you're sort of thinking on the excitement of the day and the mystery that lies ahead, you find that you're suddenly more aware than you had been previously of, the others that are watching through you and experiencing all this with you. I think you're just imagining, maybe pleased with them getting to see the things that you're feeling good about what you're able to show them, but you realize that you can kind of sense them a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's really cool. It's my primal path, which I get to choose at level 3, and I chose Ancestral Guardians, which Christiana and I have had a little fun toying with some stuff for Trina. So I'm excited to finally get here.
So yes, Trina's Ancestral Guardians are not like the spirits of departed ancestors. They are, in fact, other Loxodon back in her home plane right now who are psychically experiencing what she experiences vicariously.
You've got followers, and
Yeah,
do they vote things up?
Don't know yet exactly what it means. We'll just have to see.
Great.
But it's thrilling to know that Jura and Rula and Balti and Darius that she's not crazy. I mean, that remains to be seen, but she feels like a reassurance that the connection is working.
Right. Yeah. It was one of those things where I can't imagine that you knew it was real, but now you can actually feel it.
Yeah.
And that's got to be exciting.
Right. That's what the mumbling was about, is that she wasn't sure what the connection would be like for them. So she would be sharing different things that would be of interest to them, the different people back home. So.
All right. So what about?
I also got access to second level spells. So
sweet.
Nice.
Sequential maybe too, or is I can't remember if Artificer is half cast. Oh, you're muted, Juge. Sorry. You're muted.
Somehow muted.
Somehow.
Yeah.
It's a secondary spellcaster, so they have the slower progression.
Right,
so
yeah.
not as many higher level spells and not as many spell slots. I'd really been wavering on the specialist,
Oh,
the
that's right.
specialty,
You choose
and
your
decided to
subclass,
go with cannons.
too. Oh, nice.
Go with the artillerist
Very fun.
specialist. And the primary of that is the ability to create an eldritch cannon that can either be autonomous and walk around, or it could be mounted. And it can either be a flamethrower, which is a big cone of barfing fire, a force ballista, or a little protection shield that gives everybody some bonus hit points.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, and one other cool, as an artificer in general, their specialty is tools and building things, and now they have the right tool for the job, which means as an action, Sequential can create any tool that anybody needs. Basically, if you need a thieves tool set, I'll make a thieves tool set. If you need leather working tools, I can do that. Any of the artisan tools in the game, they can basically create a set of them as needed.
Nice.
Nice.
Helpful.
It's like having a merchant on the road with us.
So, I think as you get your night's sleep, I would like to get us to a certain point tonight. So I'm going to hand wave a little bit that, assuming it is what you all would want, is the plan that, so Yobert says that he can follow up on where the stuff from the Cunning Oath is being collected and what the progress of that is. And he can tell them, like, if the Cunning Oath building itself hasn't been cleared yet, that should be like secured and not and guarded, so it's not just accessible to everyone. But that would you all be following up on the real estate thing, or is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
I thought it might be, but I didn't want to just presume that that's it. But so you're all heading there in the morning, and it's it's a calm morning. I think it's a little foggy as you're leaving the castle, but heading down to the old part of the city where just near the north gate is this particular office. And so you have he's been messaged to say that you're all coming to ask some questions about property that he once worked on, and that's all he knows right now. But so you go up, and this, I think, it's a relatively small office on the fourth floor of a building that has a variety of different sort of paperwork type businesses in it. But you make your way up there, and you are greeted by a half elf who's older, maybe in like his 70s, which for a half elf is still he's still like middle aged. But he greets you, and he's looking a little bit like, I've been told to expect you. I'm curious what this is all about, but come in. So how can I help you all?
We had some questions about the sale of the Cunning Oath, which would have been, what was that, 12 years ago? I forget.
Yeah, 12 years ago it was. He's, I don't know the name. Do you have the address? Which you could give to him.
Yes, I give him the address.
And his jaw kind of drops when he sees that, and is like, oh, okay. All right. Yes, that was a little bit of an unusual bit of business. I had only just recently taken over the business from my father. At that time, there was a couple of different accounts. Well, so essentially what happened with that one is that my father had an arrangement with a co-op of wholesalers where they were able to use the space for storage and warehousing, so long as that they didn't make any modifications to the building structure. But I suppose it's not a secret, so there's no reason not to tell you. It's a little bit unusual. When my father died, I took over the business, and I received a letter from him that was intended to be delivered once he had died, saying that as I took over the business, that there were certain properties that he had taken an oath to maintain in their current state for as long as he lived. But now that he was gone, the oath had been fulfilled, and he urged me in the letter to divest them as soon as possible. And that address was one of them.
You still have the letter?
I mean, not here. It's at home.
How many other addresses were there?
That's the important bit, would be the other addresses, if it would be at all possible to get those.
Well, that is it's a little bit more complicated than that. One of them has my understanding is that it's already been one of them was purchased. I guess the Cunning Oaf was what was built there. One of them was actually apparently my father had been in the way of a project that wanted to demolish it and rebuild for some time, and so I simply allowed that to take place. It was a straightforward sale to it was a city rebuilding project, so it was not even really a private business. I just sold the property back to the city.
Would that have been, and I want to give the other address that Alistair and Iseld had listed.
Oh, yes, that's it. That's it. I wonder how you knew that.
I know a lot of things.
I apologize if I seem a little bit edgy. It's just that when I got that letter, it's a very unusual letter. My father had never spoken of this to me when he was alive, and the letter was in his hand, but it just took me by surprise, because I had not had any indication at all from him that there was anything like this. But I was so shocked, and there was so much to do to taking over the business that I didn't act on that immediately. And I don't know if it was just the shock of losing my father, the stress, but I had horrible nightmares for 3 days after receiving that letter. And when I got rid of those properties, they stopped. So I guess I'm just having a little bit of lingering emotion as a result of just talking about them again. It's been a little while. So I can't help but, like, what do you all know about these? Why are you here? Because my father's letter never explained anything to me, why he would take such an oath, or why I would need to get rid of them immediately. I don't understand what it is.
Well, there
Well,
were
it's
some people
yeah.
who disappeared 85 years ago, and we're not sure what happened to them, but we're researching those people, and they appear to be the owners of the two properties that we've discussed from that time period, which is why we want to know about the other properties that your father listed, because we're trying to determine if they're still alive, and we found the body of one of the missing people,
Oh,
and we
my.
want to return his remains to his family.
Huh. I, sorry, I just this seems very mundane considering what I'd kind of built up in my head. Uh,
Well, they might explode if that helps.
what?
It's
only a
it's
side
it's
effect,
a
really.
long story.
Well, so as I mentioned, there was the address that you mentioned first, and the other one that you guessed, and the third one is where it's more complicated. I I don't enjoy keeping secrets, but there is one required of me for the third property, and I'm
Well,
afraid.
if we were to perhaps guess, would that be
I can't say.
Is somebody threatening you?
No.
Should somebody be threatening you?
Look over at Trina.
He kind of goes like he's a little concerned now. It's like, what?
so? I would actually like to stretch out my second level or third level wings here, and I would like to cast suggestion.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So is he gets a saving throw here for that?
Yes, it's wisdom 18
Okay.
or wisdom 14. Excuse me.
I was going to say 18 would seem high, but all right.
Yeah.
All right. Rolled a natural 18. So, and I think that I think casting suggestion, like it's casting a spell. He knows you did it.
Mm.
And I think he sort of gets like hazy-eyed for a second, then he just says, "Please, I don't know what's happening here. I don't want to be in trouble, but part of there's special arrangements related to the third property, and I have an ethical responsibility and a personal investment in not breaking the terms of that arrangement."
And if I may ask, how much is that personal investment worth?
It's not financial. There was a unique set of circumstances related to that one. The sale was a rather unique arrangement, and it was the only arrangement that I could come to for it, but the terms of that arrangement required secrecy. In fact, I feel like I'm already pushing the boundaries right now. But if you were to, I'm sorry. I know this is frustrating, but my hands are tied.
If we were to name a property, would you be able to confirm or deny?
He looks uncomfortable, but I think without even making an insight check, you can read between the lines that you're close to what it is, but he can't bring himself to say yes.
Okay. And just so I get it right, it was the Reclaimers Club or Reclaimers
Academy.
Yeah,
Academy.
as soon as you say that, it's like there's just this weight lifted from him, and he's just like, yes, that's it. And I have some things that I need to explain now. The unique arrangement, and he actually turns and goes and starts unlocking like a chest in the corner of his office. No one would buy it. The city forbade me from selling it under any sort of normal transaction because, of course, it was owned by a now defunct noble house, and they kind of forced me to. They implied that I needed to hold on to it, but I was having these nightmares, and I consulted an arcanist, and the only way I was able to take it off my hands, so to speak, was to put it in a trust that it would then belong to whoever came asking about it. And so he hands to you now a deed. So I hope that's what you wanted. But now that I needed to be sure that I was not breaking the arrangement, but it was a magically bound contract that like I said, I hope you don't now have the nightmares that I had when it was in my holdings.
Too. It does save us the trouble of having to break in, though.
Yeah, so
Well, it sounds like it's good news then. Win-win.
possibly. I'll let
maybe.
you know after we sleep.
Who did you sign the contract with? Or is that part of the things you can't say?
No, there's nothing binding me now. It needed to be based on, because if I could just prompt someone to mention it and then have it transfer, that becomes an ethical boundary on me, that I am potentially placing a dangerous property on someone else who has no connection to it. It was important that I not prompt that, and that it would be a natural request. But the fact that you came to that, it means that it must be right that it goes to you. I have to believe that.
So let me understand this. No one in the what has it been 85 years since the attack? Is that correct?
I mean, that's
roughly
my
85 years. Yeah.
Nobody in all of that time has come inquiring about the property?
Well, it's been 12 years since his father died.
right. No one has come
And
since
no
I've
one has
had it.
come
If
in the
anyone,
last 12 years to inquire
my
about the
father
property.
may have had some other arrangement with it, or it chills my blood to think that he just dealt with the nightmares, but I don't know. His letter to me suggested that I just get rid of the properties as soon as possible, and I found, when I initially made inquiries as to how to get rid of it, that I was immediately shut down by the Imperial Court that forbade me from making any kind of an open sale. And their justification was that it was the former seat of a noble family that now the line was ended, but they felt, or at least what they said was that it couldn't be permitted to just be sold on the open market, and that there would need to be someone with a legitimate claim, and that's where the trust came in. It frankly was a way of like winnowing between the rock and the hard place that I was in.
Well, this does maybe expand Lord Relent's holdings. So maybe if the throne does come inquiring, you can reassure them that it has been passed to nobility.
I think that actually would help. But I hope that you will not all take it the wrong way if I say that I hope that this can be the end of my involvement with whatever is happening there.
If at all possible, we would just like any paperwork that you have on those 3 properties, and possibly a copy of the letter that your father left for you.
Or the original.
I mean,
That seems a bit personal.
I can't imagine the letter has anything useful. It doesn't say much more than what I said already. It just said, you know, I took an oath to maintain these properties as long as I was alive, but now that I'm dead, please divest yourself of them as soon as possible. That's really the extent of the letter. I mean, in some ways,
it might
I
be
wonder.
a magical contract.
I mean, I suppose I can provide the letter. I don't need it, I guess, but
Just for completeness sake, for our records.
I
Because-
understand. I don't have it here, but I can have it sent to you.
Thank you. If you can send it to Lord Releth, that would suffice.
I will do that along with whatever other paperwork I have. To be honest, I will be glad to have it out of my office.
Have you ever been to this particular property yourself?
Only outside the gate. It's on rather large grounds for in the city. It's walled. If you've not been there, it almost looks like a private park from the outside. The trees obscure most of the mansion from outside the gates.
Do you have any keys that we need?
I don't have anything. It's just the paperwork
Okay.
in the. So my understanding is that the place, you know, so there's 2 ways to look at this. That one is that no one else has owned it. There's not been any other transfer of ownership since what I've discussed, but I think there's nothing that keeps thieves from climbing the fence. I don't know what the state of the house is, or I frankly, my guess would be that there are no valuables left in the house. But I don't know what's there. Perhaps what I've already explained gives you some impression of why I felt like I wanted to keep my distance.
So were all 3 of these properties owned by the same people or persons, or were they all separate?
I don't think so. I mean, the Reclaimer's mansion was owned by the Chanticleer line until they died. I honestly, I'm not sure I understand how it came to be in my father's holdings.
There is
My-
a possible thread, but it would be purely conjecture on my part. So
I have not been able to determine a connection between the 3 properties before now. The fact that you have come asking about those 3 properties suggests that you know more about any connection than I do. Now, the Reclaimer's mansion, at the very least, because it belongs to a noble line, and the Empire had, you know, opinions, about how the property should be treated. I suspect that there was some sort of an arrangement. Nobody quite knows exactly what happened on that day. I don't know if there was, it was maybe perhaps arranged just to keep it quiet. And the oath my father swore, perhaps it was intended to just be a placeholder to avoid them having to do anything about it until they could figure out what else to do. And then 85 years went by and they forgot, lost interest. I don't know.
I mean, that might make sense for this building, but not necessarily the other two. You don't know who he made this oath to, do you?
I don't. It's he didn't say in his letter, although, I mean, I just assumed it was to the Emperor. He was a very loyal man. But I will arrange to have what paperwork I have. It's not much, but I'll send it. And the letter, once I retrieve it. And I hope that you find what you need there.
You have been very helpful, thank you. And from out of my pocket, I would pull a small card,
Okay?
information card,
Yeah?
to give him. And on it, it says, Pocket Protectors, search and rescue, research and investigation, by appointment or emergency. Please contact Carolina Swift at Castle Relenth.
Very nice. I think that is a great point to end tonight's session.
Mark, I had nothing to do with that. I just want to say.
Yeah,
Made
sure.
an executive decision.
That's not what that's called.
I'm as surprised as you.
It's called an ambush, is what that is.
Well, I will say I am 100% on board with inter-party dispute over what you're called.
But I have the business cards, so
What was the name on the business cards?
Pocket
Pocket Protectors.
I thought it was going to be the Pocket Protectorate. But
That was
business
my
cards have been made.
suggestion. That was my suggestion to
That was the
smooth-
elegance compromise.
It was.
I'm going to try to use those terms.
So is it Pocket
Carolina may
Protectors
have
or-
been a bit miffed after being interrupted one too many times last week.
Oh. So is it Pocket Protectors or Pocket Protectorate?
Well, the business card says Pocket Protectors, but
Okay, well. So I think
people are free
yeah.
to make their own business cards.
Yeah, so maybe the closing shot, then is Carolina handing over the card, and then slow pan over to the rest of the party, going, "What is she doing?" All right.
Making friends.
Yeah. So, great job, everybody. You're now level 3. Good for you. And you have a new direction to take your investigation. You know, and we'll see how that goes. So, let's see. We have a few people watching in chat. If anyone has questions for the characters, we can discuss that and see how that goes.
I have a question for Mark, if I may,
Oh,
Oh, God.
without having to type it. I just want to know what some of the names were, unless you want to reveal those later, because you said that you had a name or two thought up for our group. Are you gonna?
It'll never be known.
Aww. See what you did, Starla. See what you did. I love it. I think the name's
No
great.
regrets.
No, I say we reclaim that.
yeah. So we have Smarter Master who said awesome name, but then also asks for everyone opinions on the name.
I
think
love
it's
it.
Great.
I've loved it since Starla recommended it. And I, like I said, hope to reclaim it as Nerd Pride. I don't know what it means for everybody else, but I think it's ours now.
Well, it raises a question potentially of like, in universe, in fiction, like, is a pocket protector a thing? Like, is like
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, I feel like they have like fountain pen type of things, so
sure.
possibly.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
He might be the first pocket
They
protectors.
might not have like shirt pockets, like because the clothing
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah,
but,
I would think not.
It would be more like a pouch protector, I guess, because they probably carry it in pouches. and
But
stuff
I
anyway.
I would definitely say that, like, it is entirely up to the party to decide what they're called. I'm not going to enforce that now it's decided and it's on, can't do anything about it. So, like, if anyone decides they want to push it for something else, that's allowed. But
Yep.
yeah, but I like that I like for the group to have a group name. All right. Anyone else have thoughts that they want to share on the name? You don't have to. All right.
It's like a pocket.
All right. Well, so
Ton of an undead lady to suggest a name change.
so next time, perhaps a visit to Reclaimers Academy, but we'll have to see that next week when we return for more adventure on so many levels.
So many
Many
levels.
levels.